Today, everybody, we are making pork butt, but this time we actually marinated it overnight in Dr. Pepper. Let's show you how you do this. So sometimes you see a recipe online and you think, oh, I want to adapt that and try something new. And forgive me, I'm starting this off in the house because it's raining outside, but I want to get this on pretty early in the morning. So what we did was we took a pork butt, right, a standard 10.5, 11 pound pork butt, and I went ahead and put it in this, this container. And into it, I added a 2-liter bottle of Dr. Pepper. It just about covered it. It's just a ½ inch or so off the bottom. I flipped it over after about 6 or 8 hours, but this has been in here, oh, I don't know, probably 18 hours at this point. I didn't season it at all. All I did was took it out, rinsed it off with cold water, and put it inside of this, this Dr. Pepper. Let me show you what it looks like. All right, there we go, and you can just see it's sitting inside the Dr. Pepper. So I'm gonna pull that out and we'll season it up. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and pour this out. It's not a very attractive looking color of Dr. Pepper. I'm just going to dab this a little dry, not too much. I do still want my seasoning to stick to it. It's definitely absorbed some of that, that soda for sure. Now, I'm going to do this as a blackened pork butt. I've not tried that before, but this is some Chef Paul Prudhomme blackened seasoning. Primarily it's used for redfish, but I bought so much of it at a restaurant and industrial supply place. All the redfish we've made, I still have a lot of this stuff left. I do it on vegetables and everything else. So we're gonna go ahead and just mix this up a little bit. It smells good though. And by the way, in this it's salt, paprika, garlic, onion, little pepper, a couple things like that. So we'll just start here by taking a pinch of this, sprinkling it right on. Now, when I do this, I am not trying to rub it too much. I just sort of want to pat it on there so it sticks to it, helps form a bit of a crust. So I'm trying to use one hand here in the seasoning. Now, this pork butt is one that has the skin still on it. I'm going to go ahead and cook it this way. I did not trim it up ahead of time. And primarily, I didn't do that because I just figured it'll help that for it sort of fat back on the bottom will help protect the meat from getting any kind of scorch while I have it on the smoker itself. I'm just going to go ahead and place this on the smoker, and I'm doing this about 2 inches above the bottom rack. I'm not going to show you that because it's raining. I'm going to get wet while I go put it in there, but we'll show you what it looks like as we check on it. Now, I'm just going to put it in there at 250 degrees, and I'm going to let it go for probably 4 to 6 hours. When this is a good internal temperature, somewhere between 160 and 175, I'm going to put it back in this little pan that we were soaking it in, and I'll add a little bit of liquid to that, maybe some onions, wrap it, and then we'll bring it up to temperature of about 205 or so. Just pull apart tender. All right, here we go. We're just going to take this guy. I'm going to put it a little bit off center, and I'm doing that primarily just because I don't want to get any kind of scorching from the flame, which is in the center of this guy. We'll close this up. We'll let her smoke. See you in a bit. All right, I just got a notification that my temperature has now reached up to 172 degrees. Let's go ahead and open this up and show you what it looks like. All right, this thing is looking really, really good. We're gonna go ahead and just braise it for the last part. I'm gonna go ahead and take my probe out. Ooh, smoke is making my eyes water. Look at that, you can see the juice coming out of where the probe was. Here it's sizzling. We're just going to go ahead and pick this guy up and put it right in here and see if I can do this without blocking the view too bad. Whew. All right, normally I would just do this in one of these disposable foil pans, but I have this big old stainless steel tray. I'm going to go ahead and use it. Really simple. All we're going to do is, as you know, we marinated this overnight in Dr. Pepper. I used the rest of the Dr. Pepper. I did not have any more here at the house. So I'm going to pour just about an inch or so of apple juice down in the bottom of this pan. Now that's going to be my braising liquid. You could use anything, by the way. You could do this with plain water. You could do it with chicken stock. You could also do it with Dr. Pepper, given the recipe we did. You can do it with just about anything. Now, I am going to go ahead and run my probe back into the thickest part of the meat here, because I do want to cook this until it's about 202 to 205 degrees. I'm just going to leave this hanging out the side, and I'm going to cover this up. Normally I would cover this up with a heavy duty foil, kind of double wrap, but all we're really doing is trying to use this to catch that steam and keep that in there. So this will be more than enough. All right, I'm turning my grill down to about 200 degrees, and I'm doing that because I gotta go run an errand. I might be gone for an hour, hour and a half. I just don't want a chance of it getting up to that high temperature, especially if the grill runs a little hot and it's at 235, that might be too much. So, all right, so we can see my internal probe's at 177 degrees. I'm gonna go ahead and reduce this down. Let's go to 205. We just went ahead and set it. We're now set to 205 and it's at 225. It'll continue to cool. That temperature will come down until it levels out at 205 and we'll be golden. Now I did lower my, my rack by one rack down just so it has enough clearance on the top, and I'm gonna again push this over to the side so I'm not directly over the heat. Come just a little bit closer this way because of where I put my probe. Plug my probe back in, get this guy closed. All right, I just got the notification that this has now reached 205 degrees internal temperature, so let's go ahead and open this guy up. Unplug my probe here. Carry this over to the table and let's check it out. All right, press and hold that for 5 seconds. It turns it off. Let me show you what we got. All right, I'm not gonna lie. This smells pretty doggone amazing. Now I'm gonna be very careful here because I don't want the steam to come out and burn me. Keep my hands behind this. Look at that. Oh, wow. The smell is just some kind of amazing. I am noticing that this does not look like the same kind of pork butt I normally get. This might be a pork shoulder, and I should have looked closer at the label. I say that because I can see a big old sort of the end of a bone that would be like would go inside of a joint, as opposed to that blade that we pull out of a typical shoulder pork butt. This one seems like it might be more like the shank, like I've got the top of the femur there. I can also see the other end of the bone kind of poking out the other side, especially where this is retracted down off the meat. So I'm gonna let this sit for probably about 20 or 25 minutes, and then we'll come out here and I'll pull it out of here, and then we'll you know, break this pork up into something much smaller here. But my gosh, it just smells amazing, and it's so, so tender. Now, one of the things I like to do is take the probe and just put it in, and you kind of want it to go in like it would go into a jar of peanut butter or something. And like, look at that. It just, I mean, it just goes in like melted butter. It's amazing. Here's the other piece of the bone that rides right on that. You can see the curved part in it. I'm going to get my gloves on here just because the meat's still hot despite having sat out for a bit. I want to just sort of take a look and see the easiest way to expose that bone there. And then grabbing that bone, and again, when it comes out clean like that, you know you've cooked it well. All right, so now we want to take a look at this. It's as simple as like we can just begin to tear it up. Before I do though, I want to flip it over. I said before I had a pretty thick fat cap on here, and while that's good, I don't know that I want to just mix it in with the rest of the meat. So let me see if I can turn this whole thing over for us in one piece. Oh yeah, perfect. That's going to allow us to get this right off of there. Now, this is like crackling. This is good stuff, but I don't necessarily want it in my pulled pork. You see that piece of that bone? Just going to grab this whole piece of fat right out of here. Look at that. And you got that whole bottom side of this thing. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. A lot of people keep this and shred it with their pork, but I know the rest of my family is not a huge fan of that. Now, flip this back over. You can just see how easily this will just shred apart. Look at that. Looks amazing. It is juicy, and it's juicy without having you know, some of that apple juice that I poured into it sitting there to hold it together. That's just how juicy this thing is completely here. I mean, that's it, folks. This is at 205 degrees. 205 is like the perfect temperature for just fall apart pulled pork. Get an idea. This is a little piece here. It's hot. It's got amazing flavor. There's not a ton of bark on it because we covered it up and we let it steam in its own juices here. But we're talking about making some pork tacos with a little bit of cheese sauce on them. Talking about making some pulled pork sandwiches, maybe making some Cubans. There's plenty of meat here. We'll have plenty to do, all kinds of good stuff in it, but it's hot, so I should put the gloves back on. Again, just picking up a piece of this stuff and having a bite of it. That is absolutely phenomenal. Wow. You can't go wrong with this. I mean, frankly, chopping some of this up, throwing it in some pasta with cheese, like a mac and cheese, a pulled pork sandwich, pork tacos, quesadillas, just putting some of this on a plate with some barbecue sauce on it. This is phenomenal. And on sale, you can often get pork butt, pork shoulder, or even this one, which is a different part of the shoulder than the typical Boston butt. This is as cheap as 99 cents a pound on sale. So I'm sure, with that bone in it, you're probably looking at about $1.40 a pound if you had a Boston butt. The bone's not quite as heavy in those. This tastes phenomenal. This whole thing was like $9. This will be a meal for, multiple days this week and all kinds of variations.